In the top stories, health officials urge vigilance as hand, foot and mouth disease spreads in SKN. ICA delegation recognizes Ministry of Agriculture's steps toward reducing food import bill. And traffic court hands down fines and bench warrants issued. The details on these stories and more after the break.
Get so much more with Courts Ready Finance. Whether it's a furniture upgrade or appliance replacement, it's easy when you shop using Courts Ready Finance. Get more flexibility by choosing your payment terms, more affordability with low monthly payments, and more access with fast and easy application. Plus, there's no down payment and you make your first payment in 30 days. Get great deals and gifts with select purchase. Get so much more with Courts Ready Finance. Only at Courts. Bringing value home. Special conditions apply.
It's something that you can't put into words. A buzz in the air. From the time you wake up, you're ready to go. The freedom, the fantasy, the fete. To know it is to live it and love it. You have to experience it. If you know, you know. Angostura White Oak Rum. New look, same vibes inside.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Major Newscast. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis health officials are urging the public to stay vigilant as the country experiences an outbreak of hand, foot and mouth disease. On Monday, while appearing on The Edge with Devon Cornelius, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws advised residents to take preventive measures, especially parents and caregivers, as the highly contagious viral illness spreads primarily among young children.
The age is the biggest risk factor for hand, foot, and mouth disease. So children under 5 to 7, just the age alone puts you at risk. And so because of that, it follows that the nurseries, the daycare, and the preschools and the primary schools, you will see it more in these settings because the children are in close contact with each other, they hug, kiss each other, they share toys and sweets and, stuff like that, cups. And you have, like in nurseries, you have the care providers changing the diapers of one child and moving on to the next child. And if they're not practicing the proper infection prevention and control measure of washing hands thoroughly between children, you could easily see this explains why we are seeing it more in the nurseries, the daycare, the preschools, and I dare say the primary schools. So,
Dr. Laws said officials from the Ministry of Health are visiting schools and daycare centers to resensitize people on how to prevent and control hand, foot, and mouth disease. She also provided information on repeat infections.
The long answer is, let me just recap what I said earlier. Hand, foot, and mouth disease is caused by viruses that belong to the enterovirus family. Let's be more specific. The Coxsackie virus, A6, A16. Those are the two most common strains of viruses that cause hand, foot, and mouth disease. So children who are impacted or who would have contracted hand, foot, and mouth disease now in January 2025, can they get this disease in another 2 or 3 years? Yes, but highly unlikely, but yes, because if in another 2-3 years that outbreak is caused by a different strain of an enterovirus, you can, contract the disease again.
Also appearing on the program was Grenville Leader, Deputy Chief Environmental Health Officer, who spoke about the Ministry of Health's response to the outbreak.
First of all, the Ministry of Health seeks the participation of everybody in the community when the health team visit the center. We anticipate your fullest cooperation. That is most important. If we are to break this cycle, everybody have to be on board. So, we are emphasizing the importance of infection prevention and control measures. What is that? So the health department, as I mentioned earlier, the district medical officer, which is a doctor in the district, the environmental health officer for the district, and the community nurse has been mobilized collectively so that we have one voice. We created a tile that was submitted to each officer so that we have consistency, one message that is coming across. So the message is that what should you do? We sensitize the staff. We are resensitizing all the staff members in all the schools about the importance of infection prevention and control measures.
Hand, foot, and mouth disease is a contagious viral illness that primarily affects infants and young children. Meanwhile, the work being done by the Ministry of Agriculture to reduce the food importation bill as part of the 25 by 25 agenda has been recognized by ICA officials. The visiting ICA delegation engaged with staff and technical officers and made site visits to assess the different aspects of the sector, including livestock, agro-processing, and ergonomic crop production. Dr. Kurt Delis, Special Affairs Coordinator for the Caribbean, spoke with ZIZ News about what has been observed during the visit.
All in all, I think the most salient point is we have the sense that the Ministry of Agriculture and the technical officers know exactly what needs to be done for the sector. And the challenge is, okay, how do we align the resources that are limited resources across most of the other countries in the region with the capacity that you have, human resource capacity that you have to implement these plans and to scale it over a time period. So these are the challenges where we need to sit down and put the nuts and bolts together to see how do we prioritize actions, which actions we prioritize stemming from the base that is already there. Going forward towards the goals of achieving a more vibrant agricultural sector in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Greg Rollins, ECS representative, spoke about opportunities identified by AICA.
We recognize that there's a tremendous opportunity in St. Kitts and Nevis to link agricultural small producers to markets. And there are untapped markets, we believe, not just in the hospitality sector, hotels, restaurants, and so on, but even possible markets in the neighboring countries. So I think that there's an opportunity given the conditions here for production, the good soils, and the conditions that are here in terms of how you can get good greenhouse production and so on, that there's some scope to increase production to meet these markets. I think that there are still local market niches that can be exploited. And if we can target the right products, commodities that we can focus on in the short term, that we can increase that production to meet the needs of the market. And after that, look at what the opportunities even outside of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Director of Technical Cooperation, Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim, said ICA is willing to assist in implementing the plan under the 25 by 25 initiative.
We think that the ministry is advancing in a positive direction in terms of the plan for reducing the food importation bill, which is aligned with the 25 by 25 initiative. There are investments that are being made. We have some observation. We think that working with the ministry, the permanent secretary, as how to look at the institutional framework, to look at the long-term sustainability of the agriculture sector, it's something that we would like as ICA, as an institution, to provide support to the ministry of how do you advance in the policy and the strategy, but also developing an institutional framework and strengthening the capacity of local people working on the ground, be it in poultry, small ruminants, or be it in the crops, bananas, etc., which the ministry identified as a priority for advancing the plan.
The visit from the ICA delegation took place from January 27th to 31st. They offered insights covering strategies, collaborations, and future plans for the agricultural sector in St. Kitts and Nevis. And in other news, several individuals have been convicted and fined for traffic violations following appearances before the Bastille Magistrate Court on January 27 and 28. On January 27th, Lovell Charles of Lagreed was fined a total of $2,600 for multiple offenses, including driving without a valid license, driving without due care and attention, and driving without insurance. Tony Rogers of Lamberts was fined $2,800 for reckless driving and failing to comply with a traffic light signal. His driver's license was also suspended for 2 months. On January 28th, Kenson Huggins of East Street, Newtown, was fined $800 for driving without due care and attention. A total of 41 ticket cases were withdrawn after proof of payment, while 38 matters were adjourned to early March. Meanwhile, authorities issued 10 bench warrants over the 2-day period for individuals who failed to appear in court. The police continue to urge the public to comply with traffic regulations and settle outstanding tickets. And after the break, scheduled power outages announced for 3rd to 7th February 2025, and police walkthrough in McKnight strengthens community relations. We'll give you the details after the break.
Are you tired of Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? The Cable has the ultimate solution with our whole home Wi-Fi coverage. Say goodbye to frustrating signal drops and hello to seamless connectivity in every corner of your home. No more
Mom, my tablet's not working in my bedroom. My game is freezing, Daddy.
or WhatsApp calls dropping as you walk around the house. So many people struggle with dead zones and restricted Wi-Fi, and the Cable has the answer. Enjoy full blanket increased Wi-Fi coverage with installation in 48 hours or less. Whole home Wi-Fi coverage is here. Get the whole family connected today. Come in or call the Cable at 465-2588 to get your whole home Wi-Fi boost installed. The Cable, always giving you more. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, here's your Hostels Value Mart Idea Specials, running January 23rd to February 5th. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag Specials. Essential Everyday Peanuts, $12.99. General Mills Cereals, $13.99. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheese, $7.99. Dipple Pancake Mix, $11.99. Quaker Captain Crunch Cereals, $13.79. Terra Chips, $14.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. Old Orchard 100% apple juice cocktails, $9.99. Essential Everyday Gelatins, $4.99. Irish Spring Bar Soap, $11.99. The Arm & Hammer Toothpaste, $14.99. Essential Everyday Dish Detergent, $8.99. Extra Detergent, $12.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart!
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Thank you for staying with us. The St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, or SKILEC, has announced planned maintenance outages for the week of 3rd to 7th February 2025. SKILEC has advised that these outages are part of ongoing efforts to enhance the reliability of the power supply. The following areas will be affected. On Tuesday, February 4th, Willets to St. Paul's Village will be without power from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Wednesday, residents in Potato Bay to Frigate Bay and Challenges Village will experience an interruption in their electricity supply from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Connery Village will be without power from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Thursday, Phillips Village will be without electricity from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., while the outage in Newton Ground will start at 9 a.m. and end at 3 p.m. Finally, on Friday, February 7th, the St. Paul's Village substation will be without power from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Skilek apologizes for any inconvenience caused and requests that customers without power after the scheduled outage times call 465-2013 or 600 from a mobile phone to report the issue. The company thanks the public for their understanding and cooperation. For more updates, visit the Skilek Facebook page or go to www.skilek.kn. And in other news, police officers led by top law enforcement officials conducted a walkthrough in the McKnight community last week, fostering positive engagement between officers and residents. Commissioner of Police James Sutton, along with Deputy Commissioner Cromwell Henry and other senior officers, joined Division A officers in an effort to build trust and strengthen ties within the community. For many, it was a rare and heartwarming sight, officers and residents sharing laughter and casual conversations. The people of McKnight welcomed the opportunity, expressing appreciation for the presence of law enforcement in their neighborhood. The police said McKnight has long struggled with violence and crime, but during the walkthrough, the atmosphere was different, marked by a sense of calm, unity, and resilience. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force says it remains committed to working alongside residents to restore peace and ensure safety. Officers are encouraging the community to continue working together, reinforcing that their peace is the foundation of a stronger, safer McKnight. On February 1st, 2025, the RSCNPF received a report from the SKNDF Coast Guard of a suspected drowning at Shitten Bay. The incident occurred between 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m., and our investigations revealed that 81-year-old John Edward Jeffrey, a cruise tourist from London, England, passenger on vessel Iona, had been snorkeling when he was observed to be stationary in the water. He was quickly brought aboard the snorkeling tour vessel, but all attempts to resuscitate him proved futile. He was transported to the Coast Guard Pier, where he was pronounced deceased. An autopsy will be conducted to determine the precise cause of death. And coming up in regional news, Caribbean Tourism Organization and ASM Global Route Development Consultants strengthen Caribbean tourism leaders' airline negotiation skills. Stay with us.
Attention, St. Kitts and Nevis. Ready to hit the road in style? Hosford Automotive presents Fat Off Drive On Sales Event. Get up to $15,000 in total savings and much more, including no down payment, free bid of sale, free servicing for 12 months. Choose between $1,000 in groceries or free gas for 3 months, free registration, free licensing, free tinting, free accessories, and more. Don't miss out with 4% Fat Off. It's never been easier to own your own dream car. These savings and deals happening now. So visit Hosford's Automotive and drive home happy. Hosford's Automotive, where affordability meets the road. Terms and conditions apply. Are you tired of Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? The Cable has the ultimate solution with our whole home Wi-Fi coverage. Say goodbye to frustrating signal drops and hello to seamless connectivity in every corner of your home. No more
Mom, my tablet's not working in my bedroom. My game is freezing, Daddy.
or WhatsApp calls dropping as you walk around the house. So many people struggle with dead zones and restricted Wi-Fi, and the Cable has the answer. Enjoy full blanket increased Wi-Fi coverage with installation in 48 hours or less. Whole home Wi-Fi coverage is here. Get the whole family connected today. Come in or call the Cable at 465-2588 to get your whole home Wi-Fi boost installed. The Cable, always giving you more. Terms and conditions apply.
Own your own, oh yeah. Build your future today. Let Own Mortgage show you the way. Own your own, your family, your home, build it with pride. National Bank is right here by your side. With every step, with every loan. National Bank helps you find your own, oh yeah. Build your future today.
Welcome back. The Caribbean Tourism Organization, or CTO, has partnered again with ASM Global Route Development Consultants to offer a 2-day workshop on airline marketing, incentives, and negotiations. The workshop taking place February 6 to 7, 2025 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, will precede the Routes Americas Conference in the Bahamas February 10th to 12th, providing Caribbean destinations with the opportunity to engage with airline partners. Tourism professionals from Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Tobago will attend the training, which will focus on strategies to improve air connectivity. Topics include aviation marketing, incentive strategies, and negotiation techniques to secure new routes and increase flight frequencies. Dave Appleby, ASM's Director of Air Service Development Consulting, emphasized the importance of the training for securing more routes and increasing seat capacity, which are crucial to Caribbean tourism. CTO Secretary General Donna Regis Prosper highlighted the workshop's role in fostering valuable airline partnerships and keeping Caribbean destinations competitive in the global aviation market. CTO members can access the training at a special discounted rate, making it a cost-effective investment in tourism growth. And in other news, senior officials from the Caribbean Forum of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, or CARIFORUM, and the United Kingdom, or UK, have successfully concluded 2 days of discussions at the CARICOM Secretariat headquarters in Georgetown. The meeting, held on January 30th to 31st, 2025, marked the first meeting of the CARIFORUM UK Technical Subcommittee on Development Cooperation, or TSCDC. The TSCDC is one of the joint bodies established under the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA, between CARIFORUM states and the UK. The meeting, chaired by Mr. Paul Whittingham, Head of Trade for Development at the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO-DBT, focused on fostering stronger cooperation and advancing the region's development priorities post-Brexit. Representing CARIFORUM, Ms. Alexis Downs Amsterdam, Director General of CARIFORUM, and Mr. Andy Sutherland, Director General for Foreign Trade in Belize, led the discussions. They were joined by key stakeholders, including Mr. Lorcan O'Brien, Caribbean Regional Trade for Development Advisor at the UK FCDO. The CARIFORUM UK EPA, signed in 2021 following Brexit, aims to maintain the robust trading relationship between CARIFORUM states and the UK, ensuring continued cooperation and development support. The productive discussions between CARIFORUM and UK officials set the stage for advancing shared goals under the EPA framework, with a focus on strengthening economic and trade partnerships in the region. And coming up, Ontario Premier Doug Ford cancels contract with Elon Musk's Starlink in response to U.S. tariffs. We'll have the details when we come back.
In the sun or in the rain, life's a journey, joy and pain. But NCI's here day and night, always here for you, making it right. Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend, always here for you, right here to the very
At National Caribbean Insurance, you are covered and secure. We're your partner, your protector, your peace of mind. So for home, for health, for life, choose NCI, because we're always here for you. Always.
Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Right here to the very end. Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Right here to the very end.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with Skanaipa, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health. featuring experts from St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
On the international scene, in a bold response to U.S. President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on Canadian goods, Ontario Premier Doug Ford announced on Monday that his province would be terminating its $100 million contract with Elon Musk's Starlink internet services. The contract, signed in November 2024, was intended to bring high-speed internet to remote communities in rural and northern Ontario. Ford, who also declared that American companies would be banned from provincial contracts, took to social media to express his frustration, stating, quote, "Ontario won't do business with people hell-bent on destroying our economy," end quote. He further warned that U.S.-based businesses stand to lose tens of billions of dollars in potential revenue, adding, quote, "They only have President Trump to blame," end quote. The move comes as part of a broader retaliatory stance by Canada against the U.S. following Trump's decision to impose tariffs, which has also led Ontario to begin removing American liquor brands from government store shelves. Ford highlighted that the Liquor Control Board of Ontario generates nearly $1 billion annually in sales of American alcoholic products. Quote, "We didn't start this fight with the U.S., but we are ready to win it," Ford said, also announcing the call for a provincial election next week. In the wake of Trump's controversial trade policies, tensions between the U.S. and Canada have escalated, with the tariffs and statements intensifying the dispute. Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum announced that U.S. President Donald Trump has agreed to delay tariffs for 1 month after their conversation. Sheinbaum confirmed that Mexico will deploy 10,000 National Guard troops to the northern border to combat drug trafficking, particularly fentanyl. In return, the U.S. committed to tackling the flow of high-powered weapons into Mexico. While tariffs on Mexico are paused, Trump's tariffs on Canada and China are still set to take effect on Tuesday. Both countries had planned retaliatory tariffs, but Mexico has decided to hold off. Trump remains firm on addressing trade imbalances and illegal immigration, but there's uncertainty over the long-term impact of the tariffs and their potential escalation. Economists warn the tariffs may drive up inflation and slow growth. And up next in sports, Windies under-19 women players return home, and St. Kitts Nevis Yacht Club elects new executive. Stay tuned.
In the sun or in the rain, life's a journey, joy and pain. But NCI's here day and night, always here for you, making it right. Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend, always here for you, right here till the very
At National Caribbean Insurance, you are covered and secure. We're your partner, your protector, your peace of mind. So for home, for health, for life, choose NCI because we're always here for you. Always.
Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Right here till the very end. Always here for you. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Right here till the very end.
First up in sports, Jazara Claxton and Aaliyah Weeks returned home on Sunday after representing the West Indies in the ICC Under-19 T20 World Cup. The West Indies managed to reach the Super Sixes stage of the tournament in Malaysia. Jazara Claxton says the experience was one that they can build on for the future.
It was a good experience. I feel like we learned a lot. Leaving the Caribbean to go to Malaysia, it was very different in terms of the conditions, so we had to try to adapt really quickly. And yeah, but other than that, it was a really good experience.
While the team did not return to the Caribbean as T20 champions, Jazara believes once they get the basics right, they can improve their performances.
Definitely, we just need to work on the little stuff and try to build more as a team and come back stronger.
Meanwhile, the players were happy for the support they received at the airport on their return home.
I feel like it could help me in terms of my mental game, like learning from a young age to be strong and experiencing different international tournaments. So when I get to the top, it's a bit.
Still in sports, the St. Kitts Nevis Yacht Club recently elected its governing executive to manage the organization for 2025. The new executive for 2025 includes Commodore Nikhil Rogers, Vice Commodore Nicholas Dupree, Secretary Javia Galloway, Treasurer Mitris Saddam, Outreach Officer Jacqueline Bryan, and Media Officer Lisbeth Burrell. The elections for the officers took place on Wednesday, January 29th at the Tamarind Room of the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. And when we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines.
Yeah, man. Another day in the books. Well, hello there. She pretty from head to toe, and are you ready to go? Wait there. Whew. Can't afford to slip up. Not even in my dreams.
Recapping the top stories, health officials urge vigilance as hand, foot, and mouth disease spreads in SKN. ICA delegation recognizes Ministry of Agriculture's steps toward reducing food import bill, and traffic court hands down fines and bench warrants issued. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Major Newscast. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.